Hello everyone and welcome to Wednesday's Talking Reds. I am Stewart, this is Rob Gutmann. I had a fantastic night's sleep last night, maybe a little bit too good. I was in a bit of a rush to get here, hence the unironed shirts. But the reason I slept so well is because Liverpool did what they had to do. We went out to Salzburg, we weathered quite the storm and came away with a 2-0 victory that takes us through to the last 16 as group winners. But I said, Rob, we weathered a bit of a storm. We all knew that this Salzburg team had quality, but still, it was quite a thing watching them in action, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was telling all comers beforehand that I was shitting it going into this game because it was a shit or bust game really. If we slipped up, we would be out of the competition. It would have been a big body blow, I think, to the club and to the sport and to the morale in the middle of what has been a fantastic season. I think it would have made everyone take stock in a way we shouldn't be forced to, given we're a billion points clear at the top of our league. But Salzburg, for a while, they were like looking in the mirror. I mean, their pressing and their relentlessness and their intelligence and their minimina and all those other good lads was something to behold. But what was even greater to behold was our resistance to it in the initial phase when we had to stay calm, the concentration. Van Dijk reminded us why he's the best defender in the world, I thought at times there. If eyes have been taken off balls for like nanoseconds in that opening phase, you're 2 down before you know it and up against it. And although they were always going to give us chances, I wouldn't have fancied taking them on in their own ground with them having a 2-0 lead and even more space to play on the counter.
No, it's interesting you kind of call up the calmness and the concentration because I think that was really important.
Yeah.
Because we all knew before the game that they were capable of causing us problems. Yeah. And we saw, I mean, anyone who saw their last league game, okay, granted, most people won't have seen their last league game. I'll tell you, they won 5-1 and they were 2-0 up inside 10 minutes. So fast starting is what they're very good at. So we'd have known that. Yeah. But still, the quality of the play that they will be able to produce to get in some scenarios, you would have seen teams be a little bit more nervous, tighten up, maybe become a bit more sloppy in their play. And then when you look at the other end and we were creating good chances and missing them, you think it can get into your head. You think, oh, maybe it's not our day. Maybe these guys are going to take a little bit too much confidence from our missed chances and go on. And yet, as you mentioned, Van Dijk, I would put Henderson, Wijnaldum in that category as well. We had guys who were just able to take control of the game when it was necessary and then eventually give our attackers enough chances that they eventually started taking them.
Yeah, I mean, it's beginning to be talked about a bit disparagingly, but we have a great long ball game, and it's not a long ball game in the sense that the hoof sense of the word. It's we've got about 6 lads on our team who can pass the ball like Steven Gerrard quietly, and I'm not even messing. Trent being the best of them. I think early on we realised the notion of trying to play out against a team who are going to start so fast and press you so high is as stupid as when teams try against us. And I thought of that first 5 or 6, we started to go much more direct, purposefully direct, and that's when we started getting all the joy. Off a second ball, a thread, and people were in. I mean, the chances we had, we finished a halfway which we suffered scares in with. I think you've gone on to use the latest stat, the XG. Those chances we had are golden chances, aren't they? I mean, thinking the 2 first Salah, of which the second one is ridiculous how he doesn't score. And Naby Keita, I think, has the chance of all chances.
No, he does have the chance of all chances. Live TV, what can you say? Salah does have a lot of chances, and it was starting to get to me a little bit, just thinking, oh, maybe this is just one of those games where we just need them to fall to somebody else. Yeah. And yet, when you look at the goal that he did score, he basically made all of our worries look ridiculous, because that goal was ridiculous.
Yeah, I still don't quite get the geometry of it. I've watched it back a few times. I thought, the first time when it goes in, you go, how when he plays it as a sort of an outswinger? Yeah. How does it not swing out? Not go? I thought, does he put enough fade on it so that eventually it sort of dribbles? But he doesn't. No. He finds an angle. I don't really know how he does it. You know, when he goes to that wide position, you go, oh, it wouldn't be amazing if he just put this in. But that's impossible, and then it happens. Yeah, it's one of his great goals.
I think so. It reminded me of Origi at Bournemouth.
Exactly what it reminded me of. Exactly.
But better,
actually. But better. Origi's was an enormously good goal.
It was, but I think he had more angle to work with Origi, and he wasn't using his wrong foot, and he hadn't missed 4 sitters earlier in the game. So all of those things together, I think it can become
it's his wrong foot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably mishit it. I mean, he'd missed one just before, hadn't he, where he was about to replicate actually an Origi goal in the derby. Mane threads him in?
Yes.
Mane threads him in.
It looks like he's going to go around the keeper, and he just doesn't take it far enough, and the keeper flicks it past.
Yeah. I mean, Mo will come out of that game going, I should have had a hat-trick there, no problems. And I think Naby, who was his main assister there? Was it Naby Keita again?
Yes.
Naby had a fantastic game, I
did.
thought. I still think we're only seeing 40-50% of him. We're still not getting the red-blooded little Tasmanian devil Keita, which those of us who watched him at Leipzig saw. But we are getting the shiny Phil Coutinho-esque Keita.
What I think about that in particular is that we might need to see Fabinho back, because one thing about those early chances Leipzig were getting is that a lot of the time Keita was getting into positions where he wasn't quite sure whether to go fully to the ball or to kind of cut off lanes, and he was getting moved around a bit. So once Fabinho goes back and he's a little bit more settled, I think we can start to see him be a little bit freer and go about. But obviously,
there is an aggression level, I think, that he has in his game, which, because he keeps getting blunted, his continuity gets blunted. We're not quite seeing yet. He got booked all over the place in Leipzig, actually. I mean, something I thought we were going to have to work on. Where he hasn't really looked like he's coming close to a booking. He was definitely a lot more tigerish, but that's to focus on a minor negative at this stage, because creatively he's giving us an enormous amount.
He is, and I think a lot of people were surprised to see him play 2 games in a row, especially when you consider the form of Oxlade-Chamberlain and other people. But I do genuinely believe that he's one of those guys where once he's getting into that run of form, you just keep playing him, and you're going to see the benefit of it, because he's got so many less minutes in his legs than nearly everybody in the squad.
Yeah, he has. I think sometimes the supporters, that either those who, and he has divided opinion, I think, a bit, for or against. I think one place that isn't divided is Melwood. I think Klopp and his team and Linders, every time they talk about him, I don't think it's platitude. I think they genuinely, they know the player they bought. They know they've seen that player in training. They've seen him in tiny snatches so far. But I think there's an enormous, what's the word? Not reliance exactly, expectation still that he can become one of the main players in this team, not just a squad player.
I mean, he's one of the main people who was cited when we were talking back in the summer about not buying anyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, more often than not, these guys get it right. So I think maybe it's taken a little bit longer, but I still think that he will come good, and I think we're beginning to see that now. I want to talk a little bit, or at least give a shout out to the rest of the midfield. I thought Henderson and Gini were fantastic. We could talk about this game all day. I realise that you guys have got other things to do. We've also got a clip of some other people talking about this game from the post-match pint last night. So let's see what they had to say.
And ultimately, ended up looking quite comfortable. When if they'd scored first, it could have been anything but.
Then it would be possibly 3-4.
Yeah,
all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think they'll look back on it and they'll sort of think we've been unlucky there. But they've been unlucky, but at the same time, not deserved anything from it.
No, but they've been nowhere near as good as Liverpool. Where they might have been unlucky in the end, Neil, I'll bring Paul back in a minute. Where they may feel they've been unlucky was when Napoli beat them 3-2.
Yeah.
That's their bigger unlucky moments. Are they more laughs than Napoli? I think they are.
Yeah.
Are they more likely to scare the shit out of someone in the last 8 than Napoli? I think they are.
Yeah.
But are they able to, get the results they need to get against Liverpool and Napoli? The answer is no. They played Liverpool twice, lost twice.
Yeah, absolutely. And they just, they had that chance, they had those early flurries, and I think you could see the confidence ebbing out of them a little bit. The longer as the half went on, they were realising this isn't on for us.
Yeah.
Because these are just too good, they're a cut above. And I thought second half, we just showed, why we're the champions of Europe. We just looked absolutely brilliant second half.
There's a Rolls Royce performance, I think, in there, Paul, and it's hard to actually take the Rolls Royce out of the performance at times, because you are concerned, there's your hindbrain going, they can get something. Yeah. I'm looking at that, and I think that in midfield, Keita, Henderson and Wijnaldum are all phenomenal. That at first 15, I was livid with Jordan. I've done a live commentary thing for Hot Mike, and on it, first 15, I'm like, where the fuck's Jordan? We need more from Jordan. And then from about 15 to the end of the game, I'm like, Jordan Henderson's having quite the performance here. And he just strolled through it. I thought Henderson was great, Wijnaldum was great, Keita gets the opening goal. All 3 of them are tremendous.
Thanks to the boys there, and the full version of that will be available if you subscribe to our video service. I'm sure that all of you will be diving into that over the Christmas period. Now, as I mentioned, we qualified top of the group.
Yeah.
We should probably start having a little bit of conversation about who we could play in the last 16. First of all, are you bothered by anyone?
Why? Do I fear anyone?
Well, yeah. I mean, is there a certain team that you'd like to play for whatever reason?
I'd like to avoid the two Madrids. I definitely would. I'm not one of those guys who've got to beat them all at some time, any time. You play the odds. If you're playing Real Madrid, we may even be slight favourites. Well, we would be slight favourites, I think, at this stage. But if we got a Lyon, we'd be considerable favourites.
Yes.
I want to have Liverpool to have a considerable chance of getting through to the quarter-final of the European Cup. So you've got to wish for the easier tie. Shakhtar Donetsk are through, aren't they, virtually?
Pretty much.
Probably the pick of the teams you'd want, are they? Apart from the travelling.
Well, I was going to say to you about that. The travel does kind of weigh up against it. I don't know. I mean, there's a part of me that I agree as much as, Madrid teams, particularly Madrid teams, because between December and February, they always seem to be completely different in terms of how they're playing. I kind of fancy Dortmund, I know that some people will be bored, Dortmund again, blah, 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 but,
Do you think they're not that scary?
I think it's not that they're not that scary, it's just that they've got a lot of good players in one area of the pitch at the moment. They're still trying to work out what they're doing in midfield, what they're doing in defence.
Yeah.
I still think that they may end up having a different manager by the time it comes to the knockout stages as well. So there could be a lot of upheaval.
We may have their right winger.
Well, we may have a chance to at least kind of massage their right winger in terms of setting him up for a summer deal a la Alisson we did last season.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, not last season.
Well, they're third in the German league at the moment, Dortmund, I think.
They are, but Bayern are seventh.
Yeah.
It's a really weird situation at the moment.
Yeah.
You've got Gladbach and Leipzig who are about 5 points clear, and then you've got a big group of teams all beneath them. So at the moment, I would say that they aren't likely to win the Bundesliga, but they're certainly still in with a fighting chance.
Yeah, I mean, they'd be a draw. I think I'd almost take them now. So it's them, the two Madrid sides, and likely Lyon definitely, and Shakhtar possibly. So the best draws are Lyon and Shakhtar. Dortmund's the next one, and then the Madrid. How are Atletico doing this season? I haven't really focused on them.
They're kind of seventh in their table. They've been struggling a little bit to score goals, but again, they have had some injury worries. They are the kind of team who can click it in once it gets to the knockout phases. They know how to get through. So I still think they'll be a dangerous team to play against.
Yeah, I've always, whenever we've these European runs we've had the last two seasons, there's two sides I've always quite wanted us to avoid. I don't think suit us in an ideal world, and that's Atletico and Juventus. I feel those sort of teams are very, very good at being stoic and defensive. I don't know. They can weather storms a bit better than others, I think. Obviously, they should have done better if they were that good. But
well, I mean, we're not going to face both of them because they were in the same group this year.
No, of course.
So it would only really be Atletico. But I guess we'll have to wait and see on that.
Yeah.
Now, as you know, we have a question every day coming from yesterday's YouTube comments based on, well, anything really. There was a lot of Everton questions, I'm not going to lie, guys. And to be honest, I don't want to talk about them anymore. I mean, obviously, there's the whole Ancelotti business, which has come out today. I'm sure some of you...
Sorry, whoa, what was this?
Well,
I saw a tweet by Adam Mila going, that's your Lottie Ancelotti. Is this what this reference is?
Well, he got sacked last night, despite them winning 4-0 in qualifying.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. And lots of people seem to believe that he is a viable option for Everton. It's almost like Ancelotti or Moyes.
As if. As if, Blue.
But no. I don't want to talk about that. Park that.
Fucking hell. I'll talk about it.
Let's get back to this. The question is, would you rather have prime Xabi Alonso or Fabinho? Now, maybe bearing in mind some of what Rafa was saying. Did you hear Rafa talking about 2005?
Well, no, sorry, I didn't see that. I saw the bit before the game where he talked about us now. What did he say, 2005?
Well, a lot of it was talking about the idea of Xabi not having enough pace to really be a truly sitting midfielder.
Yeah.
And he was hoping that him and Stevie could do the job with Kewell ahead. It turns out that they couldn't, and so they had to change it. So you only are asking them to do different things, honestly. But if you could only have one, who would you have?
In the context of this current Liverpool team, by a mile, Fabinho, because defensively, I mean, Xabi Alonso was played as a six, not really a defensive player ever. But that midfield of ours was not a particularly ambitious midfield then, so I think Xabi was protected more. The wingers weren't They weren't free to
No.
be ahead of the ball the way that our current lot are. So I think he was a bit of a luxury. He was more of a quarterback in that side, wasn't he? I mean, you know, who's the better footballer is a different question. Fabinho's got a lot more to prove, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Xabi Alonso is a legend to the game. I'm not even sure I'd compare them directly, although I suppose because they're number sixes. But if you're up to answer, it's Fabinho for me.
I don't think that when he gets to the end of his career, Fabinho will have quite the medal tally of Alonso. I mean, there's very few people who will, but I personally would pick Fabinho as well. I also think that Fabinho could have worked in that old 2000.
Rafa would kill for Fabinho.
Oh, goodness me.
Yeah.
He would have a field day in that team.
Yeah.
So you think about the adaptability, obviously the pace, the way the game is played now, the game was played then. I just think that Fabinho is probably going to be a better fit for both teams, which is not to disparage Alonso. We all love you, Xabi. Don't ever forget that. Now, it is Christmas time. Obviously, there are lots of people out there who have bought all their presents and are a lot more organised than you or I, Robert. But for those of you who aren't, we do have some wonderful gift cards here at the Anfield Wrap. You can get a 3-month subscription, a 6-month subscription, and a 12-month subscription. I believe I said 9 months last week. That's not true. You can find out about them all on our website.
And there's a nude Neil Atkinson calendar as well. A different picture of Neil every day.
Oh, that's
of the year.
out, is it?
Yeah, it's out.
Okay, yeah. I wasn't sure if that one was coming out. As
Just look out for March. It's a bit special.
Could you? I'm genuinely, as an aside, I'm surprised that no one has suggested doing an Anfield Wrap calendar yet.
I'm surprised.
I feel like it's something that might well be going in the future.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's not necessarily a sexy calendar, just like, you know. I could just imagine like April would be like Kev Walsh outside Goodison or something.
Doing Talking Reds in our pants. I'm just picturing that now. It's not a good look.
That's a very different show.
It's a very different show.
Maybe it's
to look forward to, eh? Maybe for Valentine's, for the ladies. Let's move this on.
Yeah, we've got our Christmas drinks this evening, so we may be getting into character a little bit early. We've also got the Christmas quiz, which I know a lot of you enjoy, and I'm personally burning to improve on last year's showing, which wasn't very good. And I know that Sean Walsh has already been talking about how he's going to retain his title and basically giving it the big one, so I need to cut him down to size. So listen out for that one over the course of the next few weeks or so, and enjoy the rest of your day. Liverpool in the Champions League knockouts.